welcome to Directly Used Redirect Podcast. I'm AJ of Redirect. I'm joined by Parker, also of Redirect.
Good day.
We talk about video games, particularly Nintendo and, other related things. You can support all of that and us in our show and our channel by going to youtube.com/watch redirect or twitch.tv/watch redirect and giving $4.99. And it don't even got to be yours. It could be Jeff Bezos' $4.99. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you look into your Twitch account, you get Prime Gaming sub. You got to remember to renew it manually. That's the cost to you, but it's not a monetary cost. Exactly, memory. But also you can go to patreon.com/watch redirect and you can pledge as much as you're willing and able to get all sorts of type of cool stuff. It's a good time. You can join us, listen to the show while we record it live. Also you get other perks and stuff. You got to just go to Patreon and see what fits you best, See what tickles your fancy or whatever. You could join the Discord for the free by going to the link in the description. You can hang out and talk to us and stuff. It's a good time.
I'm right now being a good role model to all of us, whether it's to us or anybody else. I just resubscribed on Twitter.
Nice.
No, get out of here.
Can't subscribe on Twitter. We don't have enough followers for that yet.
Oh no. But yeah, I used my Twitch Prime sub because I forget about it. But there we go. So use it for somebody, because like it's free money for somebody, whether it be us or
just
Joseph
whoever,
Slosif.
man. Yep. Whoever's partnered or affiliate, whichever one, dude. Also, if you're listening on podcast services, did you know that this show is also on YouTube? Did you know that? You go to youtube.com/directly to you. And if you're watching on YouTube, though, I have news for you. We're on every podcast service that I know of. You can find those at anchor.fm/directly to you. Rate us there. It helps us out. Download the podcast. Even if you don't necessarily listen to that, I think that all that matters is that it's downloaded and that helps us out.
Yeah.
That's all the stuff.
If you're listening on audio, you could go to YouTube and look in the background and see my sleeping dog in the background.
It's true. Sometimes babies.
Double sleeping dog.
Yo. Two for the price of one.
Two for the price of one. Two for the price of none, if we're being honest. But that's enough of that intro stuff. Let's talk things.
Yeah.
So a lot of things happened this week. Some big, some small, and everything in between. But the first order of business is that I'm sorry, Alec, you cannot see the dog, but it's okay. First order of business, Splatoon 2 DLC. Well, so we've got some release dates and stuff, but this one has a couple more additional bits that we're going to be doing based off of it. So it's coming first. Yes. Splatoon 2 DLC is coming to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, along with some other DLC that's already there. But this one's interesting because it's the first that's just DLC that already just existed. You could have bought 2 years ago, whenever, 3 years ago, 4 or 5, I don't know, a while ago.
Sure,
probably 2018. I guess it came out.
I think it was. Yeah, it was sometime in 2018 because that's when
a year after the game or something.
Like one of the first things that Nintendo sent me, and
nice.
That was 2018. So
there you go. So I mean, you could have been getting it a while, and there's a couple other games that have DLC that's just floating about that you could also be getting. And so now we're just going to look through the list of the games that have paid DLC and just talk about which ones could or couldn't come. I mean, theoretically, just you could say all of them could come, but there's a couple that seem less likely, I think, than others. So
also worth noting that if you're keeping track, the Mario Kart DLC, $25. The Animal Crossing DLC, $25. This DLC, $20. The value is piling up.
It is. I mean, honestly, this is something where like I don't have Splatoon 2, just because I wasn't particularly interested, but the part I would be interested in is the single player. And at this point, I'll probably just wait for Splatoon 3 and give it a go on there, especially depending on what we see from the single player out of that game, which is not much yet. But this is something where like, if I do that, then I, in other cases, probably wouldn't have, like, say we get to Splatoon 3, play that, and I really like the single player, but then I finish it and I don't do any of the online stuff. I could see myself just buying Splatoon 2 to play its single player and the Octo expansion on the expansion pass just because they're both there.
Right.
So, at that point they're getting a sale out of me, and I feel like probably a number of other people as well in similar sorts of situations.
It's like it's like a less like fully featured thing of like Game Pass, where it gives you incentive to spend money because you already own part of the game.
Yeah,
so you might as well buy the game.
Yeah.
Like which I think is smart. It's like whatever how pro-consumer or anti-consumer you think. I don't think there's any world where it's anti-consumer, but I think people can interpret it that way, where it's like they're giving you a free thing, like regardless. You don't have to buy any of this, but you can get it you can buy it and get this content for free if you do. And I'm sure that there's plenty of places where you can get the game for free. I mean, not for free, but like for cheaper.
Right.
Now that the game is as old as it is. Like Nintendo games don't go on sale often, but they definitely have gone on sale several times since it's come out. It's like probably averaging somewhere in the like $40 range.
It's probably dipped down as low as actually here, let's check Deku deals real quick. Deku deals, I bet somewhere Splatoon 2 that it's gone down to like right now it's currently $40.
There you go.
From Amazon digitally or other places. The lowest it's ever gone I think is $27 at GameStop for Black Friday. So but otherwise it definitely goes down to 40 fairly often. So
I feel like that's the price that most Nintendo games go down to at some point, unless you're like Smash Brothers and Pokemon, which even some Pokemon games go down to 40.
So here, let me share my screen and we'll get a good look at some of these. This one. Okay, so this is the glories of spreadsheets. This is where I keep a lot of just like random bits and pieces of information about Switch games for me to be able to sort and filter to make videos on. And one of those things that I already had was which ones have paid DLC. So let's take a look at just the ones that have yeses. And all right, here we go.
There it is.
So let's just go chronologically, I guess. Starting out, Breath of the Wild. Could we see its DLC on expansion pack?
Yes. I would be shocked if we didn't, to be honest. Because I feel like the DLC like in some way will transition into the sequel, right? And I think that is free promotion for the sequel once we get an announcement of the release date for the sequel. I would be surprised if we didn't get a similar thing to this.
Totally agree. Like at that point, it's it's a win-win at this point where Nintendo after Splatoon 3 will probably still get some kind of bump in sales from Splatoon 2, either because it's on sale and so something like that, or so people are more likely to get that because they don't want to pay for the full amount for Splatoon 3 or something. I don't know. Seems dumb, but like I could see it happening. Or if you announce it early like this, then like basically you have a chance of people buying it ahead of time to like, let me see what it's all about before Splatoon 3 comes out, or after.
And I mean, honestly, like you would think that like because of the way that like the type of game that Splatoon is in the long run, that people would be like, I'll just buy Splatoon 3. It doesn't really matter because like what am I missing from the last shooting game or whatever, right? But there's a lot of like continuity with this game. Like one of the first things that I saw before I even saw the full like gameplay that they released today was that little Judd is like all grown up now. He's little big Judd now. And there's like a lot of stuff like that with Splatoon where it's like they're like what happens in these games has like lasting consequences. So like it could be a smart idea if you want to be invested in Splatoon 3 to play through Splatoon 2 because what happened.
It is crazy how much lore there is from just the bits and pieces that I've found out about. And
there's tons of
it's interesting too, like, and the way it's told feels like it's done fairly well. So yeah, but I think you're right. Like exactly, like Breath of the Wild is in the exact same situation as Splatoon 3. It just a couple more months out. And so at that point, getting it out there makes, similarly, like if you put the DLC on there, some people that maybe didn't buy the game already now are like, fine, I'll buy the game.
Yep.
And
also,
to be
can you
perfectly
full
honest,
screen this?
oh yeah, I can just zoom in. I'm dumb. Where's?
I mean, you are on Mac. You can also like just click the full screen thing. Like,
oh yeah,
the green.
This guy.
Yeah. No, the green. Yeah.
Sorry, that's better. I hadn't thought about that.
There.
All right. Yeah. But the other thing with Breath of the Wild 2, I honestly, playing Breath of the Wild, if you started it and had the DLC, there's some bits from the DLC that I feel like should have been in the base game. Specifically, the Hero's Path thing.
Yeah,
was like just fun for one thing, but it's if you don't know what it is, it's just a thing that you can see where all you've traveled in the world. Just shows a line of where, like, super sped up, of all the places that you went, all the places that you died, and all that. But if you're missing some shrines and you then notice that you've just never really visited some corner of the map or whatever, like, that's really nice. So it's fun to have that during the gameplay, so you can use that as you go. And then similarly, there's a one divine beast that comes with the DLC, and the reward is obviously Link's motorbike. And that's something that if you can get that earlier on in the game, that's way more fun than having it at the end and just like, all right, now I've got a motorbike. Because you don't have anything to do with it, which is what I did. It was literally the last thing I did in the game. It's like, I
still don't have that.
Yeah. So it was fun getting it, but
I might do that on the stream.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
I'll be picking my my copy of Breath of the Wild to back up again from a different friend, because I loaned it to a friend for a long time, got it back, and then like 3 weeks later, I told another friend I'd loan it to them, and I did. I've been thinking about just buying it digitally to have my own copy as well, and then also lend it out. But if I loan it to one more friend, then that's what I'm gonna do. But for the moment,
then you just become a Breath of the Wild library. That's
the idea. All right, so next up is Splatoon 2. We already know that one.
Yep.
It
already,
is.
yes.
That's the whole point. Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
I don't think so. Because this is like, so it's sort of a first party thing, but it's not, you know?
I think the only reason it would is because of maybe similar kind of logic to because the new Mario plus Rabbids is going to be coming out and stuff like that. But at that point, like, they're selling it for so cheap anyway. Yeah, it doesn't really, need to.
Yeah, I don't think so. Plus, like, the other thing is, like, Nintendo doesn't usually, like, you know how now the de facto, like, if you're going to buy this game, if you're going to buy Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, you're going to buy like the gold edition or whatever, right?
Like $2 more.
Yeah, Nintendo doesn't usually do that. I think that there probably is some version of the game where you can buy the game plus the Octo expansion, but it's not the version of the game,
Right. Yeah. And also, it's just the full amount of money more than it's not like a deal to get it, as opposed to getting the two together.
It's like whenever they do stuff like that, it's like a retailer specific thing, and it's like you get an insert that has a DLC download code. It's not like they didn't change the box art to be like Splatoon 2 Definitive Edition.
Which, I mean, I do wonder if that kind of stuff happens with. At some point, do we see Nintendo Selects? Did they only ever do those because they were?
I mean, we might get Nintendo Selects, but I don't know if Nintendo Selects were usually like that either. Like Nintendo Selects were just like a cheaper version of the game. It wasn't usually like a cheaper version of the best version of the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is purely a question. Were there any games in Nintendo Selects that would have even had DLC, paid or otherwise?
Some of the 3DS ones, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
But on the other consoles, probably not. No.
Yeah. Because where all have we seen it? Saw it on 3DS, obviously. Wii U. We had Nintendo Selects? Question mark. Okay.
Wii, and I think DS did too.
I mean, here's the thing. All of those consoles feel like ones where I could see Nintendo trying to push certain games for, and having sometimes a hard time doing so, which is just not the case anymore. So it's, hopefully we get it.
Well, except for DS, not DS.
Yeah.
DS was
But even then,
crazy
like
all
it
the time.
sold so many copies and stuff. And I mean, it did of like its biggest games and stuff. So I guess that's true. But it's just, also
Yeah,
so many of
like
those are casual fans. And
yeah, I could see the thing about the DS and why it didn't seem like it seemed like it was less of like them trying to like like bolster its numbers and more like a brand consistency thing where it's like, well, we're trying to get people to spend more money on the Wii's that they have, and we have this branding. Yeah, well, why don't we do it on DS? Like DS doesn't need it, but we have this brand and it's like current, so let's be consistent. Whereas now they don't have they don't have the base reason to have it at all. So why have it at all? Other than it just being cool, I guess. And if they did want to do the what the other big three do, where it's like we just want the big number, like we just want to be able to say that one of our games sold 20 million units or whatever, right? They would it would be good for them to do that, but they already have those big numbers without the sale, like they could have more 20 plus million unit sellers, but like what's the point if they're losing most of the profits from it to have this sell?
Yeah. I feel like their biggest use case for it now is going to be when the next, I mean, kind of the same way that PlayStation is using the PS Plus or whatever it is. That like when, Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever comes out, whatever console has exclusive games and is backwards compatible, which we're just assuming is the case, then doing something creative to like get people on board to be able to play older games quickly, whether that's that they're cheaper, like Nintendo Selects, like, or that they come in some kind of service sort of a thing like PS Plus. I feel like that's kind of the, the way that it would shift to, but we'll see. I mean, maybe that's what, something like the expansion pass ends up being, is there's another tier that has full games with it. And
I could see that.
Yeah. Moving along, Pokemon Tournament DX.
No shot.
Not a chance. Fully agreed. Yep.
It's supposed because it's like obviously a Pokemon company thing. They don't usually do that with their games. Plus, it's a third-party Pokemon company game. On top of the fact that it's like the DLC is not that much money to even, like for that to even be incentive. I think it's like maybe $10 to get like both packs or whatever. It's not that much. So it's like,
and also like, I don't know. Whereas the Octo expansion and Breath of the Wild DLC and Splatoon, well, that is the Octo expansion. Whereas those ones are like, this is content that exists and you can play the game. And there's, I don't know, it's like just additional value in that's like more different. Adding just more fighters doesn't feel like something where it's like, well, I could already have these fighters in this game. You know what I mean? Like, which will be interesting when we get to
say
Smash.
that. I was about to say, we'll revisit that when we get to Smash.
Because like in Pokemon, I can't see that as a selling point where it's like, if you play, you could already have Blastoise. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not incentive at all.
But yeah, that'll be again interesting when we get to Smash. But yeah, so definitely no for Pokemon. Fire Emblem Warriors.
No.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I didn't even know this game had DLC, and that's the main reason why I say no. Because like, who cares about this game? First of all, like, people might care about it retroactively when 3 Hopes or whatever the heck that game's called comes out, but like, I don't think that even that game is a big enough deal to do the like Splatoon 3 thing.
Yeah. Sardi says, I care. I already bought the DLC twice though.
I had no idea that it even had DLC.
Yeah. So yeah. No, I mean, I generally just feel like they kind of have to do the higher caliber DLC stuff, which no matter what, whether you're a super fan of specifically this or not, it's definitely lower on the totem pole for exactly the reasons that you mentioned that you didn't even know it existed. So because otherwise it kind of muddies the water with like, if having like 5 really great things feels better than 5 really great things and 6 things that you're like, okay, I guess those are there for whatever reason, just like showing that there's prestige behind something or other, whatever. So for that reason, I kind of feel like, yeah, similarly, even though it is technically more content, I just don't know that would
right.
So yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, which, spoiler alert, is in my games you're playing right now. But we'll get to that.
I mean, I'd imagine it connects to 3 in some way. So maybe is it not?
It kind. I don't.
Like,
So
I don't think it
know.
connects to 3 in like a direct way of like.
Right.
And at the end of Torna is like, we'll return in Xenoblade 3. I don't think in that way, but I think it like will add context to the world. So I could see it, like that.
Yeah.
This is like maybe.
Like, I feel that. For me, it feels like it's such a standalone thing, like literally is sold standalone.
Which, I would say that's another part of it that makes me say maybe, because that to me has value, it's almost a Game Pass thing where it's like, this is a game. Like this is a full game that you're playing, but it's technically DLC. I could see them. I could see it. But I mean, also like, for the reasons that we talked about before with like, this game, I don't think is a big enough deal for people to like retroactively want to go back and play the DLC, and it's not directly enough tied into into 3 to make it like a selling point for 3. But at the same time, since it is a standalone thing and it's technically DLC, it could be enough for them to be like, hey man, get your feet wet with Xenoblade, the video game, but it's really DLC, like.
It's interesting because I think whereas Breath of the Wild and Splatoon is like, oh, I guess I should buy the full game because I already have part of the game.
Right.
I think with this one, it would be like, oh, I'll play this full game that's on here that's shorter and basically is like, I mean, from what I've heard, like most people have said, this is the most refined Xenoblade content that there is. So like functionally in a lot of ways better than 1 or 2 or whatever, just that like it's more truncated and like kind of trims the fat a little bit more. I mean, we'll see if I agree with that, when it's all said and done. But that kind of thing. I think basically what it would do is serve as a commercial or dipping your toes in the water for 3 rather than for something else, which I mean, doesn't feel like a bad thing. That feels, So I'd agree with maybe that it's like, I could see them doing it, but doesn't seem like as obvious of a progression like the other ones do.
Right. Captain
Toad.
I think no.
Yeah, me too.
I think so. Yeah, it's too small, and like for something like that where it's not standalone, it's not big enough to like be valuable, because like it's the like balancing act of these like free services or free when you get games for free on PlayStation and Xbox, people don't usually pop off when they're like big games, when it's like Spider-Man or whatever, right? Because it's like, I already bought this game. Like if I'm interested in this game, I bought this game when it came out. And obviously there's like fringe cases of people that always wait for a sale or whatever, but for the most part, most people, the biggest games, they're not buying those. I mean, well, they're buying those, and when they get announced for the thing, it's like, well, I already bought this, and they're mad that they bought it. The things that usually are big are like the games that are just under that, it's like the games that's like, I would play that, but I'm currently playing this, so I'm not going to play that. Those are the ones that are the most exciting when they come on PlayStation Plus, the Rocket Leagues of the world. So I feel like Captain Toad is like too, in this case where you don't get the full game, it's too small because not everybody bought this game. You want those games in this case to be the ones that are being catered to, the games that everybody bought, because you don't want your consumer to feel like you're always nickel and diming them, right? So it's like when you like announce these games, that's like, well, everybody has Animal Crossing, everybody has Mario Kart, not everybody has Splatoon, but close to it. It's in the top 10, like that sort of stuff, right? Those games I think make more sense to put on here. because you're not making people buy more things.
Yeah. No, totally agree. I don't really have a lot to add to that because so there you go. That's pretty much that. Captain Toad, fun times. All right, this one's gonna be interesting. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
I think this is another maybe, to be honest.
Yeah, it's. I don't know where I land on this one because basically the way I see it, like licensing is the real big question.
Yeah.
Because like they'd have to pay some other people to make it happen. And trying to think about like from Nintendo's perspective to get into this. I think instead of it being something where people buy the game because of the DLC, people will buy the expansion pass because of the DLC in this case,
because it's like a cleaner way to get everything,
right.
And on top of that, you get all the other benefits. Like, I think like Smash alone is kind of like what we said a lot about like Animal Crossing when they initially did that, where it's like that's a big enough selling point by itself. Because so many people already have this game and may or may not have the DLC at all, or certain DLC characters that they would get if it was like an additional perk rather than it being something that they're spending direct money on. You know what I mean? And plus, with the thing about Pokken Tournament is like people aren't actively playing this game. I mean, obviously there's like a base of people that are playing the game, but I mean like at large, you don't see literally every weekend Smash Brothers on Twitch has it's like top 5 concurrent viewers, like that's not happening with Pokken Tournament. So with Smash, it's like you had the incentive of like some of the characters, like the best characters in the game are DLC.
Yeah.
So it's like whether you want to play them or not, you want to learn how to play against them. And the best way to do that is to, really play as them and see how they work and see what, will gimp them and like cause them to die in bad situations, put them, stuff like that. So if it's like this additional thing that's like, oh, well, I had this DLC for free, quote unquote, that might make you, that might be more likely of a purchase for you than to buy the character outright.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. So that's the tricky thing. I guess the other question too is like, what do we get? Just the fighters passes and then none of the costumes and stuff? Probably, I would guess, but like that would be even more of a selling point of like, oh yeah, you can have Sans or whatever as well. Like that would be neat, that would be unlikely.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. About the Mii costumes, because that never was a thing for me. Like I bought one Mii costume and it's because I was forced to by the video game.
Yeah, right.
Which was unfortunate. But it is 75 cents or whatever. And plus the thing about that also makes it hard to for them, because like I think the value of Smash DLC is too much for this, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like even if we look beyond the monetary value of it, right? Like if they put all the Mii costumes and everything, right, we're easily looking at over $100 worth of stuff.
Yeah.
But like if you look at it past that and just look at like a lot of this stuff probably should have cost more than it did, because like each character comes with a stage, comes with music, and like more spirits and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of these Mii costumes even come with music, so it's like, I don't know. I think that also might be something that they don't really want to give up.
Yep. I mean, yeah, because it could be something where maybe eventually, if the sales of it are dying down, which I don't see that happening much. But, theoretically, if they're not selling a lot more of those, then they're like, all right, well, this is something we can use as this. But again, then we come back to that licensing thing where like they would have to pay money on a free thing they're doing, which is like, maybe that's a sunk cost and that's just fine, because then they're getting that many more
but it's just like, how
do
you do that? Like, how do you divvy that up? What would that agreement be? Who's worth more? And like that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know. I mean,
I'm always curious about how that works in the first place. Like, just as is. you know, like,
well, I'd assume that like for the DLC characters, that's easier for them to approach because it's like individual instances that they probably pay them for like up front, and then they give them like a percentage of whatever it is, right?
Like 100 people bought this thing, we're giving you 100 25%.
I remember the DLC characters for Smash 4 were more expensive. Like it was like $1 more for the DLC characters in Smash 4 that were third party. But I don't know, or I don't remember if that's the case for Ultimate. It wouldn't be easy for me to find it because I already bought all of them. Let me see. Search, bro. We can move to the next game if you want.
Sure.
To buy time.
Next game. Well, next game we can write off already. It's Tetris 99.
Yeah, I mean, I
was gonna say no for that because, like,
no,
I think the DLC is single player stuff or whatever.
Yeah, right? That's true. But as far like, I agree with every.
But it fits in with the whole.
Exactly. Like I think the synergy just works. I think the synergy just works. Where it's like, yo, you get the base game for being on the base Switch Online, and you get the full game for being on the premium. You know, like I could see that. I could see it. That said, no.
I put it in maybe for now. Cadence of Hyrule, that one feels like a no, just right out the gate. But I mean, you know, it would be neat, but feels too small.
Okay, so Min is $6. So Sephiroth is also $6. So nope,
I think they're all $6.
Yeah,
right?
They're all $6 in this game. But in Smash 4, third-party characters, I think were like $1 more.
Also, what's the words I'm looking for? Can you still buy the fighters passes?
Yeah,
as fighters passes. Okay.
And they're
25.
The first one's 25. The second one's 30.
Okay.
Because the second one comes with 6 characters.
The
first one comes with 5.
Yep.
Which, like, I'm surprised they didn't like retroactively like put Piranha Plant in the first one.
Yeah.
But then at that point, they probably would have retroactively made the first one $30.
Yeah, that's true. Because can you still get Piranha Plant if you?
Yeah, but he costs money now.
Oh,
like when you originally got the game, you could just redeem your purchase or whatever. It was. I think it was a little bit longer than a month.
I think so. It was like 2 months till the end of January or something like that.
It was like the beginning. Obviously, the game came out at the beginning of December, and I think it was like till the end of January. That you could redeem Piranha Plant, or maybe it was like before February, like early February. But who cares about Piranha? I wouldn't buy Piranha Plant if I didn't have them for free. But there's that.
Interesting. Yeah. So I mean, still curious how all the money stuff of that works, but I guess we'll maybe never know. That is the kind of thing.
Justin says I'm sure they give you the option, which is my issue with NSO versus NSO and VC existing. I mean, that's fair and that makes sense, but I think that that is not how most people like in practice operate. Like they end up spending more money than they probably should, where it's like they're going to buy this thing just to have this thing and then never use this thing. Whereas now it's like you pay this fixed fee for all of the things, and that gives you the option to play as much as you want or as little as you want. And if you don't want to play any of it, you just don't pay for any of it.
I think here's after having paid for, subscription services kinds of things for the number of years that I have at this point, Netflix and otherwise, I don't know that I've regretted it more than once or twice, like for specific things or whatever. Like
I can tell you now that if I had to buy Moon Knight, I wouldn't be watching Moon Knight. Yeah,
exactly.
So that I think,
or I would pick and choose which ones to watch more specifically. Like maybe I'd hear good things about Moon Knight and be like, okay, fine, I'll go watch it. Like I think there's a lot of things like that. Like I have the DVD box sets for Fringe because it's like one of my favorite shows. And they took it off of Netflix a while ago or something like that. But I don't watch the DVDs of that because it's inconvenient. So it was way better when it was on a thing, but it was like, you know what, this is a thing I would like to have. So I have it. and cool. But I made that decision. It's like having the DVDs. I don't feel bad that I also paid for the subscription for watching it at the time that I did. It's like the two just live. So similarly, if Nintendo Switch Online with the expansion pack and stuff like that, if it blows up, goes away forever, then I can just be like, all right, well, now the things that I still want out of that are this, that, and the other. Similarly, like I played your copy of Paper Mario Origami King. You played my copy of Kirby and the Forgotten Lands.
Yep.
I'm fine with just the fact that I played it, and I can buy it again a different time if I want to, or I just play your copy for some amount of time. But if I want it for myself, I could just go buy it later. And I know that historically there have been situations where if you didn't buy it then you could never buy it, and there's kind of just a FOMO thing that exists. That just like is a little bit less and less the case now. Like there's ways that companies will manipulate you with that, but it is starting to go away more and more. So I'm just like fine with.
Also, the thing is, like, at the end of the day, it is transactional, and there is like pros and cons to everything. And I guarantee you that the reason why they don't do both is because it, like, them both existing weaken the existence of each other. They cannibalize each other. If you can just buy one, then you're not going to buy all of them. And if you can buy all of them, then you're not going to just buy one. It's like this competing thing that doesn't is not it doesn't help anybody but the people that actually do pick and choose, which I think ultimately will hurt everybody, because the people that pick and choose will not be profitable enough to justify them putting the time and effort into releasing important all these older things or whatever, So it's like I'm fine with it.
I think, exactly to your last point there, like if it's just going to be too much work and not enough reward for Nintendo or other companies
or anybody that does these.
Yeah, exactly. For any companies to not bring us stuff because there's too much risk involved with, like, if not enough people buy this part of it, then we're, then we can't keep making this kind of stuff. Then at that point, like they can take more risks basically because of the consistent groundswell of, people around it. Right. So similar to, like you said, with Moon Knight or whatever.
Because I think it's clear.
Weird thing.
I think it's clear that first, at least Nintendo specifically, they know how successful it is or isn't to like nickel and dime people in that way, where it's like, and here's this release, and here's this release, and here's this release. If it worked for them, they would still be doing it. Yeah. Because even like an argument that a lot of people like to use is like, well, Wii U wasn't as successful, so that was a bad reason to end Virtual Console. But they also had 3DS, which was very successful, and that also had Virtual Console. So it's like if it was profitable for them and it like had any type of forward momentum, they would still be doing it. But it doesn't seem like it does, so they don't.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. I had something else along those lines, but basically that's the point. So similarly, I'm good with this. I think is, easy way to put it, because I can also just stop paying for it if at some point I want to stop paying.
Yep. Now, so if they locked you in or whatever, it's like that. Then I get the complaint, but they don't. I mean, they lock you in the expansion pass, kind of. But even for a year with that, it's like I don't care, because I like the expansion pass. I could just go all in with multiple people.
Yeah, right.
If I was even thinking of it in that way, right, where I'm trying to like save money, because like my expansion pass is now full, and I am the only one that paid for it, and I'm fine with that.
So, I mean, it's similar. Like, Amazon. I mean, not singing the praises of Amazon or anything, because they suck. All
terrible company in so many ways.
But like people aren't like actively that mad that it's $120 whatever dollars a year for Amazon Prime. It's just like, that happens.
Right.
And
also, I think like if you're paying for it and you use it, it's worth that much.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
It really, like, there's so many like extra things that you get that some people just straight up don't use. Like some people get these subscription services for one.
I use Amazon Music,
reason. Yeah, same. Yeah. Like they get it for one thing, like we were talking about before with if Ultimate was on here. Like I'm sure that there will be plenty of people that will be expansion pass owners just to get all the things,
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep. But especially, I mean, for the kind of gamer that I am, which is that I like to try a lot of, try a little bit of a lot of things. It's nice to not have to like be super proactive and like think too hard about which things I want to get or not get. If everything's just there, then I can just try a bunch of stuff. And that's
Alex
nice.
said,
And also,
I mean, I get $60 in Twitch subs from him. That's true.
There you
That's
go.
true.
Yeah. I mean, and also I think it's something where for Nintendo, this is a way to promote various older IPs and like get people to try Mario Golf or whatever, in a way that's, less hard than trying to get a ton of people to all buy Mario Golf 64. They can just like, whatever. All right, just go, play it on this.
And even beyond that, I think is like something like with their numbers. I bet what they see is like every time we do virtual consoles, everybody buys Super Mario World. Nobody's buying Bubble Bobble. Like why are we putting this here? Stuff like that. Right?
Yeah. And then you got like 3 people that are like, or I mean, even thousands of people that are like, why isn't Bubble Bobble on here? And then as soon as it is, they're like, thank you. Now it's there.
Yeah. Now it's there and I will play it twice.
Yeah. Or not even buy it because it's just like, I just wanted it to be complete. It's like the OCD parts of our brains more so than
which is like not a good thing. It's not good.
Sorry, he said Parker is the hardcore gamer. Elden Ring, weak sauce. Bring on the Kerbo. I'm excited to talk about Kirby. I did the post game stuff, so we'll talk about that.
I did not yet, but I mean, I will eventually.
Yeah. So yeah, moving on in this topic as we continue. Fire Emblem Three Houses had paid DLC. Could we see that? I think, yeah.
I don't know. I would say I don't know just because I don't know what it entails. That said, I will say one of the main reasons why I was talking about the DLC thing, where it's like it's incentive to buy the game, that literally happened to me because I got the price and error DLC for Three Houses, and I wasn't going to buy it. I had no real reason to buy it because I could just play your copy. But I had the DLC, so I was like, oh, why not? And I bought it.
Yeah. This is one I could see this.
I still haven't played the DLC though, so I don't.
Yeah, because I think the DLC is just extra story stuff. So yeah, I haven't played it either. I haven't bought it either. In any case, so I
wonder if you could download the DLC from my account.
Oh,
I don't know.
And then I would play
your copy
physically or digitally.
Huh?
I think I would have to play the DLC on your account.
Yeah. Well, I feel you probably would have to use you would probably have to use Three Houses from my account on your, but I don't know. When I played Smash Brothers on my Switch from your account, Min Min is there.
Oh yeah,
you don't own Min Min,
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's because the DLC is associated with your Switch.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, all this stuff is weird when you get into it. But yeah, I don't know. I feel more like a maybe about Three Houses, to be perfectly honest, but it's one that I could see it fitting the kind of Breath of the Wild Octo expansion more than some other ones.
Yeah, I think the main thing that would have me be like, I don't know why, because like why would they do this? Like what's the announcement here?
I mean, well, so theoretically there's rumor has it that there's another Fire Emblem game in addition to Three Hopes that's coming out maybe even this year.
Is it related?
I couldn't tell you. I think the rumors have been all sorts of everything, so I haven't paid attention to them. I've just noticed them here and there.
Gotcha.
So I guess it would just be a like, oh, and there's another Fire Emblem game too if you want to do it. But that's not a very as strong of a narrative by any means as direct sequels for some of the other ones.
Yep.
Luigi's Mansion 3 has DLC, but honestly, I don't even remember what it is. I think it's like the multiplayer
stuff.
I
think it's multiplayer stuff.
Which seems like a wasted opportunity in my opinion.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
I think no.
Yeah. I agree. It felt like, I think the Luigi's Mansion 3 DLC felt kind of more like more fleshed out than the Metroid Dread DLC, but like kind of within the same thing where it's like, really, why why is this okay? I guess it's
I
there.
think if the multiplayer was cooler, it would have been fine. But the multiplayer, I mean, the multiplayer is fun, but it's fun in like a throwaway sort of like.
Yeah.
If I'm going to play something like this, I'll probably play like Mario Party over this,
Yeah. Yeah, a little too one note and like not particularly consequential. Or even if there was like, I don't know, if the multiplayer was more campaign like or something, then maybe, maybe not even story, but like progression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Then I could see that. But otherwise, Animal Crossing New Horizons, already put it in there.
It's already there.
Already there.
I think they're taking it away.
Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, obviously not.
No.
The paid DLC is you get a different car. So no. And lastly, we haven't had paid DLC in a hot minute, it seems like.
True.
I'm gonna I'm gonna unfilter and just check that there's not anything else. Cause I guess none of these other games. Weird. Oh, but the last one in any case was Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't even. Oh yeah, I can't remember what the DLC was. It was like new fighter people and some new story stuff. But kind of just seemed like but yeah, literally none of the games last year had paid DLC, which was just interesting to me as I was going through this. Like that's
wait, wasn't Age of Calamity last year?
No, that was 2020. Last year was 2021. Time happens. It's crazy.
No. I thought Age of Calamity was last year, but I guess it was like holiday 2020 or something.
It was holiday 2020. Yeah, it's November. So
time is strange, especially post 2020 time.
In my mind, last year is always 2020, like 2021.
Yeah. It's still 2020 in my head.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's the games that currently have paid DLC. There's some other ones that probably will. I'm still surprised Ring Fit Adventure doesn't. Just saying that. I could.
You know what they should do? Would freaking set the industry on fire. Yeah. If they added DLC to the retro games, that would be freaking hype.
that would be, yes. Mario 64, but play as Luigi. Like,
you know what? There's a video in that. There's a video somewhere in that. Like if X game got DLC today, what would it be? Yeah. There's a video in there somewhere.
That is interesting. Let's get Labo VR DLC.
It's true.
All right, that's that. Wow.
There it is.
So in summation, the games that we think are liable to get it are pretty much Breath of the Wild. That's the only one we said a conclusive yes.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And then, which is surprising. In my mind, there was going to be a lot more that were like, yeah, of course. Also, in my mind, a lot more games got paid DLC, but I think a lot have just gotten like updates and stuff. Like Mario Tennis got free DLC.
I think it's mostly because Breath of the Wild, like that was like a game that even before, I think we said when we initially talked about that, it makes sense to have DLC on the expansion pass that's more than just Animal Crossing. Splatoon was one that we named, and Breath of the Wild was the other one that we named. Yeah. And those are the ones that we're like firm on, where it's like, yeah, for sure. Like it makes a lot of sense for them to do stuff like that because it has like marketing benefits for them.
Yep. It does indeed. So yeah, but speaking of Splatoon, which it's coming out. Splatoon 3.
True, it is coming out.
It is coming out next not next year. It's coming out in September 9th.
Yes.
Which is I don't know.
It's a little later than I thought.
That's what I meant to.
I thought Splatoon was going to come out in August, but I'm not far.
Yeah, I mean, and also it's still summer. I kind of
people are like, was Splatoon 3 delayed? I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. So it's fun when things, still happen on their correct cadence and all that. Yeah. But yeah, we saw a trailer for it. I hadn't played Splatoon 2, or Splatoon 1, for that matter. Mm-hmm. So did you watch the video?
The gameplay? Yeah.
Yes. Anything stand out to you as like different?
The abilities are cool. The UI, it looks like they like It looks like they added like a thing for like hashtag like the Discord things. I don't know if it's just them being like, LOL, here's our version of Discord in the game, or if you could literally be like put your number thing since you guys do it anyway. But that was one thing that I saw. And then like the specials and stuff was another like new thing. Plus what I was already talking about with the little Judd being bigger little Judd.
Little Judd, that's your salmon.
He's the small cat. He's the baby cat. There's the big cat, and then there's the baby cat at the end. Yeah. And it's like this team wins.
Good guys and bad guys.
He's like a bigger cat. I mean, he's a bigger cat now.
Yeah.
He grew.
I see that. I'm looking him up.
Because like the first thing was like Judd, and then Judd was by himself, and it was like Judd was like an anomaly. Because like all the mammals are dead except for Judd, and then Judd has Lil Judd, and then people are like, oh shoot, Lil Judd, that's crazy. And now
Lil Judd's got like a squid looking tail though, like it's pointy.
It's true.
Oh, but Big Judd has a pointy tail too. Never mind.
Yep. But that's the character progression. It's like the freaking Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
The Charmander Pokemon cards.
Wait, which Pokemon?
The Charmander Pokemon card with the guy. He's like a kid.
Oh, who's a kid? And then, okay, that is what I was thinking of. I just forgot it was Charmander. Yeah.
There's a Tepig one too.
Oh, that's cute. Maybe that's the one I was thinking of. Maybe that's why Charmander sounded weird. I was kind of surprised that what they showed was just that gameplay, because like again, they're continuing to like do stuff that it's like how to know the game to like
to know the differences. Yeah. Except for I feel like the launcher thing is pretty obvious. Like how when you like start the game, you launch into the game like that. Like because the other thing is like you just come up on this thing and then you move forward. But now it's like you're like launching onto the area because that was like anti-spawn camping, their anti-spawn camping measure.
Oh, gotcha. Nice.
But everything else, it's like you gotta like know the game at least a little bit to know like, oh, that's a new weapon and that's a new special and that's a new like I forgot what like the equipment like grenades and whatnot.
And to be honest, it does make me feel like there's probably the single player is the thing that's the most like different, and I'm totally guessing, but that it's the most like unique or standout part of it or whatever, and that's why they're waiting so long to talk anything about it. And probably like, you know, if they do a summer direct, that's where we'll find out about it and stuff like that. But just a little bit surprising that if I were in their shoes, I feel like I would just show nothing instead of showing stuff that is, I mean, then again, the number of people that liked in Japan, the Japanese tweet about it is like 300,000 likes or something ridiculous at this point, which is just so many.
It's a big game.
So maybe it's, you know, anything's better than nothing, but it seems like you're still not winning new fans yet. Yeah,
which I don't think they need that, honestly. Like I think that it's good for them to be like, hey, here's this thing that you like to the 15 or 12 million people that bought the last game. I think that's a good place to start. And if the story mode is new, then it's good to pop up and be like, hey, we're new when the game actually just comes out and is out, you know?
It feels kind of like a Pokemon new gen rollout in the sense that like you could have just shown all the really exciting stuff right at the beginning and like gotten everybody in on it. Specifically, I'm thinking with, a bunch of gens, less so Gen 9, like Gen 9's kind of coming out the gate, like open world.
I think Gen 9 might be doing it too.
I mean, could very well be.
Yeah, like with people being like, confirmed, no Arceus Pokeball throwing. It's like, I could definitely see that.
You're right. Yeah.
You know, like because they pretty much always do it where it's like, all right, man, here's this thing that people like a lot or will like a lot, but we're not going to show it until until we feel the need.
Because Sword and Shield, like we did know about
we talked about it on this podcast. This very show that I was like sad about that, where like it was like, man, that sucks that there's no overworld encounters, and lo and behold, they're in the game.
And the ones in the wild grass are like almost few and far between, I feel like, in terms of like how at least I interacted with them. The ones of just like fully wild ones, because they'll pop up and then I just walk away from them.
Oh yeah.
The like true like random encounters from tall grass.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but that was the first thing we saw in the trailer, was just like the one.
Yeah, just those. Right.
And we were like, oh man,
because those are like honestly more avoidable than the like overworld Pokemon, because it like does the trainer encounter thing where like the game kind of like
exclamation mark and
like the exclamation point. I mean, yeah, like grows or whatever. It's like I don't want to do that, and then you dip out. But yeah, rollouts.
Release dates, you know, and similarly, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got a release date.
True,
which is momentous because it's early.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I wouldn't have expected that. I mean, if anything, even though I did think that Splatoon 3 was going to come out in August, I would have expected these to be flipped.
Yeah,
because Xenoblade seems like the type of game that you want to put in the like right before holiday season sort of pocket, you know, because it's like it's a game that people know about, but it's not that big of a game, you know.
Yeah.
And usually when, especially now, it seems like the big, I mean the games that they want to be big that are not usually either come out super early in the year or right before holiday,
like September kind of time and stuff. No, yeah, absolutely. That's what else? Astral Chain, I think, was around then.
Astral Chain was like December, I think. Yeah, and the first or the second Xenoblade on
Xenoblade was December for sure.
Yeah, that was December. It's like, yeah, they usually like,
I mean, I guess the nice thing about this is that you can, it's still a pretty slow time. Normally this year doesn't feel like any time's particularly slow time, except for right now where we are. But I feel like, you know, you could play a game and get a big chunk of it done, which is probably good.
Well, honestly,
yeah, it does seem weird.
Even now is not really that slow of a time. We just got Kirby and we're already about to get Switch Sports.
It's true. But yeah, I mean, it looks exciting. Some things about it, it's merging together the stories of 1 and 2, which I won't say any more things about that because spoilers and all. But those games are complicated in terms of their story. Like I played both 1 and 2 and had to watch a separate video to be like, what happened? Like what was going on? Granted, I played them several years apart from each other. So
I played like 40 hours of 1, 30 hours of X, 16 hours of 2. So I'll probably play like
no story.
Exactly. I'll probably play like 8 hours of 3 at this rate.
Honestly, I mean, all of the like big story stuff legitimately happens within the last 3 hours of 1 and 2, more or less. Like, I mean, there are story things that happen before that, but like in terms of, it feels kind of like Memento, that movie where it's like you find out the last 5 minutes and then the like last 10 minutes and it keeps going back. Like you don't understand the origin of things and just like the way the world works and all of that kind of stuff until the way ends of the games. And so that's why I had to watch a video, because I was like, yeah, you're telling all this now, I don't have any time to like process it and like understand what's going on. So
literally the only Xenoblade game that I didn't purchase is the last one, the last definitive edition. I didn't buy that because I was like, one, I played this game and didn't finish this game. I'm probably not gonna. And I was considering playing your version. I don't remember why I didn't do it though. Maybe it was just me knowing that I wasn't going to do it.
Probably so. I mean, even definitive edition, I about halfway through, I just turned on easy mode and just kind of cruised through the rest of it because I was like, I want to see what happens in this game, and I'm having a fun enough time with it, but like just didn't have the mental bandwidth for when was that it came out? I think it was it last year?
What, definitive
or was
edition?
it?
I thought definitive edition was 2020.
It was 2020. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that explains it too. But yeah, it was end of May 2020. Yeah, for whatever reason, I think it was just like I just didn't have a lot of focus, so I just cruised through the second half of it. I think the game is better experienced if you're like really into it,
Yeah,
doing all the side quests and stuff. Sorry to say, yeah, last year about 2020. Yeah, confirmed. So yeah, but in any case, I am like, the more I see about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the more I am excited about it. And again, I've started a little bit playing Torna, and it's, as soon as I started playing, I was like, man, this is just a fun. I forgot how fun this can be.
We're not even in that segment yet, I don't think.
We're not at all. We've got a ton of things to talk about.
We got a whole bunch of stuff.
So Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is going to come out. We thought it was going to be September, but it's not. But it probably will be in September. Maybe more games. Game Boy Advance games, True. Game Boy games on Switch.
Yep.
And maybe or maybe not for this reason. I think that's I'm kind of okay. So the whole thing, of everybody knows, this has been like almost a week now, because it happened right after the podcast last week. Oh no, it didn't. It was 3 days ago. Man, time.
True.
Somebody found a Nintendo Switch Online emulator for Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, and Game Boy Color. And it was like running games, or like people tested games or something like that. It's called Sloop. Probably, going to be coming to Nintendo Switch Online. The only thing that makes me specifically hesitant about this is that Modern Vintage Gamer seems pretty hesitant about it. And he seems like a pretty, like, I don't know, knowing person on some of this kind of stuff. Obviously not like all knowing or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Who's to say? But like, there were just a couple of things that he pointed out that I was like, sure, I don't know what that means, but like, why not? The thing is, I don't care one bit about this specific emulator, because I think it's going to happen regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
So whether this is the one pointing to it or it's happening anyway, I think it's happening anyway.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see when it's all said and done, like, was this leak correct or was it not? But yeah, let's talk about it. Game Boy Advance games.
The first thing I saw was Pokemon Pinball, and I was like, no shot. but at the same time, maybe. So, like, I don't really see. The thing is, like, I've talked about this before, I'm sure, but Game Boy, just the Nintendo handhelds for the most part in general, I don't care about any of the games with Pokemon. Like everything else is like, like there's like the other games that I've played and I bought and I liked after doing it, just because it's like, oh, I have this console anyway, I might as well play this game. Like the Mario games that are on there and stuff like that. But really the only Mario game that I've ever bought on a handheld console that's not Nintendo Switch, and I've been like, yo, that's up there with other Mario games, is 3D Land. That's literally it. Every other one, it just feels like, I mean, I wish I just played Super Mario World instead.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, for like Pokemon's the only, for me anyway, the only game that I've played on portable consoles that feels like the reason to own one.
Yeah.
Everything else is like, I mean, we have this. We might as well put a version of this franchise on here.
I mean, yeah, I believe that you feel that way. I loved my Game Boy Advance. It was a good old time. But I also didn't have that many games. Exactly, like Golden Sun for sure. I'm just looking at a list, best Game Boy Advance games, and the ones that I would like specifically like to play. It's fairly long list. I've never played Minish Cap, and I'd very much like to do that. Metroid Fusion, never played that. I'd like to try the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and like those branch of the Mario RPGs, because that would be interesting. Yeah. Advance War's coming out as Advance War, anyway, so that's not that big of a deal. Yeah. I've heard great things specifically about Metroid Zero Mission. I loved playing Super Mario Worlds. Basically, it's just Super Mario World, but on Game Boy Advance, but just a tiny little bit different, and I liked that version. I also like regular Super Mario World, but man, there's a lot of games. There's a Fire Emblem that I'd be maybe interested in. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, I'd be interested in. I'm going to name a couple more. Get ready. Here they are. Golden Sun for sure. And well, I mean, I have played and love. And there's some other ones. Wario Land 4. I don't know. So there's a bunch that would be fun.
It'd be neat, but yeah, I feel like this is going to occupy the same place that the other things do, where it's like I'll play a couple of them a few times and then never again.
I feel like base Game Boy and Game Boy Color, besides like Oracle and
definitely Game Boy Color,
yeah, those ones would be pretty much. Those to me are NES in terms of like 90% of them I don't care at all about. 10% of them, I'm into or whatever, and then the SNES and Game Boy Advance ones are like I am more interested in a lot of them, whether I get around to them or not. I've still not played Super Metroid. That's on SNES and I want to play that, but like I've got other games to play. It's going to be sitting there for as long as I need it to be.
But that's exactly what I mean. That is exactly what I'm saying. Like there's like no games other than if they put the Pokemon games on there, that would be enough reason for me to stop playing games that are like console games currently. It will be neat for a day to go through all this stuff and be like, this is cool that this is on here. I'll play this. This is neat that this is on here. I'll play this. But not really anything on there that I can think of that would make me drop anything else.
Yeah.
So it's cool, but
so I mean, in any case, September is when I'd be looking out for. September, I guess October, because last year.
That's usually around the time that they do Switch Online things.
And especially, I mean, the nice thing is kind of like you'd mentioned at the way outset of Switch Online, where it's like, well, they got to make it at least kind of good because people are paying for it now. Right. All the more so with Switch Online expansion pack, because like people are paying for it and they're kind of mad about it. So adding as much stuff as possible is a win.
Truth.
There it is. I will be curious if this was a real leak or not, but we'll just
I mean, honestly, I don't think it matters because I think both sides of the argument will brush it under the rug.
Yeah,
like if modern vintage gamer was wrong about it, then he's just going, some people hear different things change, blah blah blah, or not address it at all, right?
Well, so his thing wasn't even like a behind the scenes thing. It was stuff.
It was like a coding sort of.
It was like some of the files that were in there.
Right.
It was like seems super off that Nintendo would reference this thing in there when that's not blah 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 blah. I'm like that. I'm like, sure, I wouldn't know. So that kind of thing. But again, it's just like the end result's the same. So yeah, it doesn't matter.
Sardi said, I've gotten zero use out of Genesis and N64. I think I'm the minority though. I don't know if you're the minority necessarily.
Minority.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could be getting extra use out of Genesis because this week more Genesis games came to Switch. That segue. Now everybody knows.
True.
I only say this is only important to me because one of the games is Shining Force 2, which I've never played and had fully forgotten, but at some point knew that it's also developed by Camelot before their Golden Sun days.
Yep.
So
they are a Sega thing. That's true. They are that.
So yeah, I'm interested in kind of maybe giving that a little bit of a go, and maybe because it's kind of like Golden Sun, but not Golden Sun. Probably more boring than Golden Sun by a good bit. If it's just like straight up old school RPG through and through, then I'm definitely less interested because that some of the things I like about Golden Sun are the like interesting things that it does outside of that and like how it uses that. But still, it'll just dip my toes in or something.
They got Sonic Spinball, dude.
Yeah, and Space Harrier 2.
I don't care about that.
Couldn't tell you.
Sonic Spinball is neat though.
Shoot 'em up.
Am I going to play it? Probably not. Well, again, I might play it one time. But this is cool. I think that the best way for them to go about doing stuff like this is to literally, like, I brought it up as a meme, the DLC thing, but literally do something like that, or like NES remix, SNES remix, like that sort of stuff. I think that is the way to make this like feel like more than, because for what it's worth, I do still think that like Switch, and I always thought that Switch Online has a lot of value because I do know that people have that like need to have access to all these games that they just want to have in their mind space, that they have access to the game more so than they want to play the game. So like it existing is cool, but for it to exist and feel like it's like a valued piece of your like played library, they need to like make marked changes to and additions to these games. That's more than just start that game on new game plus mode, you know.
I mean, it's like, all things considered, Tetris is still Tetris.
Yeah.
That it used to be. It's a little bit improved functionality wise than the original, like, because you can save pieces and you can fast fall things or whatever, whereas maybe you couldn't in the original. I don't remember. And you couldn't save pieces until some slightly later one, but still, like, the rest of it's just cosmetic and like Tetris 99, and that's just like a spin on the original thing. So similarly, just take that. I mean, it's Mario 35. That's just a spin on the original thing. And how huge that was, as opposed to the number of people bothering to go and play
just regular
Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, exactly. Because like I played this before. Like I played this before, and there's a more modern version of it that learned from this thing. So why would I play the like prototype other than like nostalgia or like being like a student of the industry, you know?
Yep. Indeed. I mean, and we played that thing.
Did you know that all the Tetraminos have yes, I did know that.
I did know, but I do not know what any of them are.
Me either.
Oh, we didn't read that they all have names. Was that for
that's what
listening?
Oh, I didn't say that.
I think you did say. I think you trailed off, which is a very fun.
I thought I said I have names. Yeah,
maybe you did, and
I don't know.
We'll never know. Hey, did you know the Star Fox designer won Star Fox Zero on Switch?
I did know that. There's so many Star Fox Zero devs that love this game. I like this game. I like Zero, but people don't like this game. But I like this game for a different reason than people don't want to like this game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a neat, dumb like attraction more so than I'm trying to be a sweaty high scorer in Star Fox, you know. But I think that if they put it on Switch, it will lose that appeal, and it will become sweaty high scorer Star Fox, and I think that makes the game less interesting.
And hurts the franchise as a whole and all that too. Because that's the thing that I would not be interested in Star Fox 4 at all.
What the heck? Sardi posted it. The Tetris names. The like L. I don't even know how to.
Orange. Orange
Ricky is
and
like
Blue Ricky.
Yeah, and Blue Ricky is the other side of the L, or the L pointed the other way. Cleveland Z is the I don't know how to differentiate these. And then there's Rhode Island Z, and then the long one, just the straight one, is Hero, which that's apt. TV
absolutely.
is the T, and the square is Smash Boy.
Smash Boy. They're calling you a square.
True.
That is all.
Oh
my goodness. That's really funny. Smash Boy also feels like just out of its time. Like that feels too modern of a name for like all the other ones. I'm like, okay, sure. Rhode Island Z. That's fun. But Smash Boy just.
I don't know. I have no thoughts. Why I do have a thought. Why did they do that? What developer was like, these characters need names? And why did did they say that they were characters?
I also am curious.
Well, I'm not saying like in the manual, but I'm saying when they were designing this game, did they think of the blocks as characters?
Right, with like faces in their minds and stuff. Man, that's so interesting.
Yeah, Hero is a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah.
There's no denying that one.
If Tetris was just all the hero blocks, I'd be so good.
It's true. Everybody would be. I don't know how you could be bad at Tetris if all of them were the hero blocks, unless you're like an idiot.
Find a way.
You had to be super dumb to mess it up with all hero blocks.
Sometimes you are,
It's true. Some people are super dumb.
Yeah. So yeah. Star Fox Zero specifically, the context is the character designer tweeted, "Dear Nintendo, 6 years have passed since the release of Star Fox Zero today. I think there are some issues, but please port it to the Switch. Also, if you can produce a sequel to the animation, we will also be in charge of scenarios and content. I look forward to working with you. Best regards." And then put out a trailer for the thing. Yeah,
I'm down, even though I think it would be less interesting.
I am not down, I will say. I think it should come to the Switch at some point. I don't think it should be its introduction on it. Like, I feel like right now there's potential bubbling that, like it could, that Star Fox has potential to be something. And I feel like they need to like go all in on that before muddying the water at all. And then you can come back afterwards. It's kind of like, it's the whole like Mario Odyssey came to Switch and then Mario 3D World afterwards. The one with the bit of controversy, now it can come, and everybody loved it. Everybody was super happy about it.
It's true. That said, Star Fox fans, at least, weren't dumb, and the minority, turns out. The thing that they want is the opposite of that, right? Where it's like the Mario fans were mad about 3D World because it like felt like less than, whereas like usually new console, big Mario game, this very specific perspective is like cameras super zoomed out in specifically. That's the thing that a lot of them were mad about. But like Star Fox fans just want Star Fox, but pretty.
I wonder if because I feel like Pokemon and Kirby are both franchises that kind of like, as time went on, that narrative existed, but also kind of got lessened a little bit. Where like by the end, Kirby fans were like, no, 3D Kirby would be great though. Like, whereas
trust me, I know I'm fighting. I'm fighting these idiots. But now they have seen the light.
But like, I mean, there was, even before even before after Star Allies, before the Forgotten Land was announced, I feel like people like in general had come around to like, it would be cool if they, switch it up and did some cool stuff. And I feel like Star Fox is maybe getting to that point as well.
I don't know about that. I think
if not getting, I mean,
it's kind of like, I think that it's like getting to the point where it could get there. Like it's in the sun and moon era of like, they tried to do something different, but still the same. And then that made the fans mad and they're like, put it back. And then like the way that would have them have that natural like conclusion that's like, all right, we need more than this, is them literally doing exactly what they asked for and saying, okay, here's the thing that you want, but prettier. And everybody's angry. Because
I think it's exactly that. Like if
Sword and Shield is the thing that people want, but prettier. No matter how you feel about tree textures, Sword and Shield is infinitely prettier than Pokemon Sun and Moon is. So
it's anytime the answer is like, all you need to do is, and then it's something like, unless it's like, all you need to do is completely rethink everything, like that, whatever. But anytime that's the answer, it's like, probably that's not really the answer. Because it's just Star Fox 64 again, but better. It's just like, that's
right. Because what does that actually mean? So like, because like you'll never really please those fans that's like, just do this again, but X, because then like, what's this again? And how much would the but impact how you feel about the this again? Like you put too much but in it and not enough this again.
It's exactly. So I think if they can appease that fan base by including parts of the game that are the traditional gameplay, then that feels like a win-win at that point. But I think if they want Star Fox to be what they probably want Star Fox to be, I guess, like the same way that they seem to be thinking about Metroid and the same way that they're thinking about Kirby,
I think Nintendo sees that and just the way that they talk about their IP. They see that they could be like Marvel. you know?
Yeah, right.
Where it's like obviously Nintendo, like on paper, they have IP that are more valuable than even now Marvel's IP. But Marvel is quickly catching up because they are better monetizing their existing IP. Like Iron Man went from literal zero to hero, you know, like it went from being like who is Iron Man to one of the most recognizable properties in the industry, you know.
Yeah.
If Nintendo, I mean, like if Nintendo approached that the same way, right? Freaking Popo being as recognizable as Pikachu could mean a lot for them, you know.
Like, I mean, and it's, you know, a lot of it's like the monetary risk of everything. Like Marvel puts in as much money, more, I mean, not literally, but like within the same wheelhouse of money.
They're spending $200 million on Shang-Chi and also $200 million on Spider-Man.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it's like they, you know, they're going all out on everything, whether it pans out or not. And I think that's, you know, they have the money to be able to do that, but so does Nintendo in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So at least they can, you know, continue to be a little bit more risky comparatively. Like they don't have to go all the way out there, but
yeah, like because the way that they approach their games up until now is almost defeatist in a way, where it's like, all right, this is one of our smaller IP, so let's make a smaller game, you know, which is like a self-fulfilling prophecy most of the time.
Exactly. So similarly, for Star Fox. So I hope that they do more Star Fox things, and I hope that they use Takaya Imamura in the character design stuff, because it seems like he did a good job, you know, with character design bits. But like as far as the scope of that game, it feels like that would be a mistake to me.
Yeah, a big one.
Yeah. And you know what else is a mistake? From the sounds of it, Nintendo towards some of their employees, perhaps.
True. I don't know much about this, so I'm interested to
much
find
either.
Out what they're talking about.
So I'd looked into it, or I'd been hearing stuff about it here and there throughout the week. But from what I understand, the basic gist is that somebody has filed a complaint that that Nintendo was like being very anti-union at this person, or maybe more people, or something like that. Which sounds like a pretty, from what I hear, is just like a standard
corporation thing.
Yeah, corporation thing in general, and especially within the gaming industry. Like there just are no unions, basically. I think there was one that was formed earlier this year, like late last year, something like that, and that was a pretty big deal. But otherwise, just like it's not a thing. And so, yeah, and I think the people that they were using to do the union busting stuff or something like that was something like it. I'm just going to read this. Nintendo is no stranger to legal matters for various reasons. However, they don't.
This is from my Nintendo News, to be clear.
It is, yes, correct. However, they usually aren't as big as this. You see, an unnamed worker has filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board, or NLRB. The complaint alleges that Nintendo, as well as a firm it uses for hiring contractors called Aston Carter, violated their legally protected right to unionize. According to the complaint filed on Friday, Nintendo and Aston Carter engaged in concerted activities and made coercive actions against the worker, and even interfering with their legally protected right to organize. The exact details are not clear, as the publicly released version of the complaint doesn't include that. However, Axios speculates that the allegations may include claims of surveillance, threats, retaliation, and either a layoff or refusal to hire. The complaint was filed in a Washington state. Since this is where Nintendo of America's headquarters are, it's very likely that this is strictly an issue with Nintendo of America. According to Axios, Nintendo and Aston Carter didn't respond to any requests for press comments at this time.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that, because I don't know what any of it means, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we have no details, so how can I, like, you know? It could go either way.
The other thing is, like, it's it's tricky, because like it's so far it's one complaint, so that's a thing. That's definitely not to say that that's significant. Could be that it's like,
right, it could, I mean, it could be that Nintendo is terrible, and
exactly
it's like choke orders
that bad,
and
that only one was able to get through,
right.
So it could be on that side,
or it could be the other end of it where it's like literally it's not a thing. This person's bitter that they got fired or whatever, and they claim that the reason why they got fired was this and blah blah. Like it could go either way.
Yeah,
because we don't have and the other thing is like to say one way or the other.
Yeah, it's not to diminish it in any way because unionizing in general, it seems like that's something that needs to be kind of reworked from the ground up in terms of like there's something, I don't know, where like, because it sounds like this is a pretty common thing, not even just in gaming, but outside of it as well, where it's like just there's certain industries that do have unions and that's a thing, right? But then there's others just like that union busting is like a big thing. And even I don't know, watching an episode of The Office back in the day, they're talking about unionizing, and then like whatever, it's just like that. So it's interesting. I don't know nearly enough about this kind of stuff, and if I don't know.
I'd be interested. I don't know if
do the legal thing though.
I don't know if they're going to talk about it, but I'd be interested to hear Kit and Krista's take on this, if they're going to give it.
That's
because I think that will give us the best indicator of like how concerning, or not concerning, but like how where we should land. Because I don't know enough to say one way or the other.
Yep. It feels too hasty to go kind of one way or another. And and it's it also like sucks to agree with norms of like everybody's union busting, so like it's fine to do it, because that's not how that works, right? But it is also like
that's not what I'm saying, to be clear.
No, exactly. But that's like that's one of the ways that you can come down on it, which is yes, none of it's good. But we'll find out more, and like there's an official investigation now, so I think whenever that gets resolved, we'll know.
Right.
But in the meantime, they should do whatever's actually legal. So they should not be union busting, because that is illegal.
Alex said union busting is bad in any form if it happened at Nintendo. Shame on them, but we don't know exactly. Exactly.
So there you go. And then the last bit of news: has Nintendo patented warm clothes?
Maybe shoot. Huge if true.
Yep. So this is super interesting, I think. Is this from I only saw this one just barely before we went online. I missed it. This is from Nintendo Life. Alana wrote it. And Nintendo files in-game clothing patent to help keep your characters warm. So basically, like in Breath of the Wild, where you wear clothes. And
I mean, this patent makes sense. This patent makes sense. Like, I would patent this too, because what other game does that?
And like, I think the thing with patents, I do wonder how often it's like, we'll go ahead and patent it and have it, and if somebody else uses it, it's like whatever, like if somebody puts in their game, not a big deal, but
it's probably you're giving them money.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because I know, I mean, like the only other one that comes to mind of like gaming patent like that is the rival system,
the Nemesis system.
Yes, that one comes to mind, which I frankly haven't really seen in any other games.
And that's the thing that's tough about it, right? Because it's like I want more companies to do stuff like that, like in Breath of the Wild, right? And this could make them not want to do it, or make it impossible, depending on how Nintendo goes about, like enforcing this patent, or implementing it or whatever, which would be bad. But like, it could also be a good thing if they like make it this open source, like monetized thing that's not like egregious. Because then it just like, in that way, if you think like Unreal Engine and other like companies that turn their like proprietary like engines and stuff into this like business, it makes it more straightforward for other companies to implement these ideas, so they're more likely to be in games moving forward. Like the physics engine in Breath of the Wild, I think Microsoft owns them now, or at least the base.
Interesting.
Like like where they started from. It was Havoc, I think. Like stuff like that gives, even if they don't like to a T use that exact tool, it's an easy starting point to work off of and improve it from there. That saves them a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
To have their own system. So like I hope that if anything, it's the latter, because it would be cool to have more games that are that well thought out, where it's like, man, it's cold here. And this has this negative effect, or in some cases a positive that you didn't think of.
I mean, for what it's worth, it's the kind of thing too where like it's not going to be as interesting seeing this exact same thing again. So I just hope that they continue to have more ideas that are within the same kind of
I agree, but I disagree at the same time. I don't think it will be as interesting. I think that games not having it are less interesting for not having it.
Yes, right.
Is more my thing. Like
I am curious.
It wouldn't blow my mind to see other games do it, but it's like it makes those games comparatively, even if it's by a little bit, less impressive if they don't.
It does make me wonder though, like what's the not to rag on Ubisoft too much, but like what's the Ubisoft version of this or whatever, in the same way where it's like Breath of the Wild, you can climb everywhere, and like that was used very well and blah blah. And Immortals Phoenix Rising, you can climb everywhere too, and it's like, yeah, I guess you can climb everywhere. Like it's like it's not bad, and it is good, but it's like not as well like
thought out.
Like exactly.
in Breath of the Wild, it feels like intentional. Like it feels like a puzzle. Like every aspect of the world at any moment can be a puzzle because of the way that they approached being able to climb everything. But in Immortals Phoenix Rising, it just feels sterile. So, like,
it's true, man. Yeah, that was a game that like it was fun while I was playing it, but like pretty quickly after I was like, was that a fun game? Like,
the entire time that I was playing it, hence why I didn't finish it, I was like, this game is soulless. Like this is the Ubisoftification of Breath of the Wild.
I mean 100%. Yeah, and it's like, I think to answer my own question, it was fun. It wasn't lasting, like it didn't like the combos and the combat was fairly fun, so that's something that's good. So like the minute to minute was fairly fun, but it's just like, so much of the stuff was copy pasted in all sorts of different places that like not that many things really stand out as unique or like momentous or whatever. So it just like, just didn't have a lasting effect in the same way that you'd want games to have some kind of lasting effect. Which is funny because like I think that even Islanders, the $5 game that we got provided by Jack over at why am I forgetting? CodeSync. Thank you so much. I have more memories of that than I do of Immortals Phoenix Rising, which is pretty sad from Immortals Phoenix Rising. But nevertheless, I'm not playing Immortals Phoenix Rising right now.
It's true.
I am playing other games. Are you playing any games? Let's talk about it.
Not really. I mean, I'm sort of playing a game. So I tweeted a little bit ago, and it was like a tweet that I made that was like, nobody's going to care about this, but it's funny because it got more traction, like way more traction than I expected it to get.
Yeah.
Where I was like, this freaking, so Tweak, the Super Smash Bros. Player, is very good at the video game. He's from New Jersey. I played the video game with him, got coaching from him and stuff like that. Right. He posted a video like 2 weeks ago. Talking about how he changed his controls for Diddy Kong because Diddy Kong has the fastest up smash in the video game. And when you have a move that is as fast, like for the most part, smash attacks are slow. So it doesn't matter that the move is slow because like the input, you put the input in and that's also kind of slow. It's like you charge it and you do stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. And because the move is slow, you won't charge it by accident because the move's going to take forever to come out anyway. But these moves are so fast that even if you do like this and you like freaking just like immediately flick, the move is so fast that it is hard to do that and like let go of the move before it starts to come out. But if you use the grab button, it is impossible to charge. So you can do up smash with the shield button. I mean, with the grab button in shield. And it won't charge at all. And that has changed so much for me. It has revolutionized my gameplay so much because there's like just looking at like Lee, right? We play Super Smash Brothers together pretty much every week on our twitch.tv/watch redirect, if you didn't know. And there's so much times that I would die because I go for Charizard's up special out of shield. And the main reason why I go for his up special out of shield is because there's so much more variance in like how far I can go depending on what he does. Like I can drift into him further or drift away if I think that he's going to like punish me for it in some way. But the thing about it that's bad is like if I miss, there's a lot of like window to punish me for, because Charizard's huge and he falls slow. So it's like, all right, well, you missed that move and I have all the time in the world to make you hate your life for it. The up smash is like, it's the super fast move. If it misses, whatever, most of the time it won't miss because it's pretty big. So you're just going to die and I'm grounded and you can't really punish me for it. And that just changed how I approached everything leading up into that hit, because I don't have that like contingency plan of like, well, if you put me in this situation, I'm going to up B and that's a risk. It's now, okay, I'm gonna play around up smash, and if I throw that out and I miss, it's whatever. I might be able to grab you still. I'll jab you, I'll block again or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty big. That's been pretty big.
Nice.
Up smash. Use the shield button if you got a fast up smash. Not that many characters have it though. So that's been that.
Nice. That's fun. I finished Kirby. Well, so I'd already finished it last week, but I did the post game this week and 100%ed it. I posted a thing on Twitter. Also, I took so many videos and pictures of that game that in my mind, I was like, I'm going to post this. And I just never got around to it. Partly because like I was playing on airplane mode a bunch, because like I know that you were playing and I think Ash was playing still on my profile. So like, I'd be like, I'm going to post it on airplane mode. So I thought about going back and like posting a whole bunch of those, but I didn't. But I posted a video in any case of 100%ing it. And I was missing one of the like treasure road things that you had to like find by flying around and like searching for it on the overworld. But I was like, where is this one? So I had to go looking around for it. But yeah, then that's all finished. And I got like, that stuff. But I will say the post game final boss stuff is like, the post game in general, pretty fun. I just had a good time with it. It's like a nice kind of walk through memory lane of some of the levels, but like doing different things. And then the last thing is just in the Coliseum, there's another boss rush thing, but it adds 2, I think, final bosses that are to the way end of it. And one of them is challenging. Like once I went in with like an OP weapon, it wasn't that bad. And once I knew what I was doing and like what to look out for, but I was fighting it. And like, I came in with my health bar and an extra health bar, and also just a backup item of full health bar and extra health bar regeneration. And I went through all of that on the first time that I fought it, because I gave up my good weapon. Because I was like, maybe it wants me to be like neutral Kirby for this and like shoot stars and stuff.
Yeah, some of them are easier if you use the neutral Kirby.
Was a mistake for sure. It might have been,
I don't know if that one's easier, but I know some of the bosses, there's been a lot of times where, especially in the early game, like the first boss, when I used the ice against the Gorilla Man, I was like, it's way easier to just use regular Kirby.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and I've seen people too where like if you go to the Wise Waddle Dee and you ask him for facts and stuff, he'll be like, the most used power up is this, but also he'll be like, the fastest time somebody's completed this boss fight was in this time. And almost every time it'll be like, and it was as normal Kirby. So like, I don't know what they're doing to do that, but like to beat, some of these bosses in like less time than it takes.
I wonder if it's like you can chain the stars faster than it seems like. Yeah, because
I think you can like get a bunch of them in there.
Yeah, just like get and like freaking bullet seed them.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that final boss, it was just fun to do. Took me 3 tries, I guess. The second time I went in was like it lets you redo, because it's in the Coliseum. You can like, do you want to leave? Do you want to redo the whole thing? Do you want to redo just this fight? And then if you redo just this fight, you like pay 100 coins. So I did that, but like at that point, I didn't have any extra health stuff. I didn't have a power up to go into it with. So that did not go well. But then I came back and had several of the weapons are too OP, and this one is like the most OP of all. Just super broken, but that's fine. It was fun to do. So that's Kirby for you. It's finished. Nice. And yeah, it's nice to 100% a game that feels like this feels similar to 100% kind of as like Mario Odyssey or something like that, where it's like it wasn't too much extra to 100. I mean, to get like 999 stars was like, it's annoying to go to the store and just buy a whole bunch of them just for no good reason. But getting like all of, not stars, moons, but getting all the moons felt like, yeah, I got all the moons, and it wasn't like too daunting to do it. And this was a similar kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, so there's that.
I don't know if I 100% it, but I'll do the post game.
Yep. I also wonder, like with this kind of thing, at what point is things spoilers or not spoilers? You know what I mean? We're like, because
I mean, it's different for everybody. I don't care if you tell me what the final boss is or whatever, for the most part.
I mean, that's like, I remember I watched a Donkey video where he was talking about Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and he put a picture of the final boss, like final boss in there. And I didn't know what it was at the time, and now I do. I'm like, is that a spoiler? I mean, probably technically, but like, does anybody care?
People are mad about it for sure. Definitely. Absolutely. There's somebody in there that's mad.
Yeah.
But the thing, like the way that I approach Kirby, because there was like people in chat that were like, oh, I beat this boss and this final boss is this. And it's like, do you want to know what it is? It's like, I mean, since I'm playing it right now, I think it'd probably be more interesting for everybody that is watching if I don't know. But like if I was just playing the game normally, I don't care. You know, like you could tell me what Kirby's final boss is, whatever.
Yeah. So there you go. There's that. And then other thing, a couple of little things, I think. What was one of them? In any case, Torna for sure. Just started that like last night. Oh, I remember.
Made you want to do that?
It's been in my backlog. I beat Kirby, so I was like, some kind of backlog game, here we go. And then like, Xenoblade 3 coming, I was like, might as well. And I posted about it on Twitter, and at least a couple people were like, you should play it. I was like, all right. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And so far it's good. It kicks you into the game way faster than Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does in any case, where like there's an intro cutscene, but then pretty much immediately you're like doing gameplay, which is good because the intro to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was very long. So
I'm still
thankful. But I've only played like literally 30 minutes of that so far. I just started it the other night and haven't gotten back to it yet. It is surprising going back to it how not great looking it is. Like I'd forgotten. It's just like really, it's just anti-aliasing kinds of stuff. Like it's busy. It's not like it looks, the art direction is good, but it's just like technically, you know, whatever. And I really don't care, other than it's just interesting that like in my mind, I remembered it looking better than it did. So I'll see if maybe that's just like, just as I popped into it, I thought that, but I don't know.
We shall see.
We shall indeed. And then quick ones. Started playing Pokemon Blue again, pulled out my 2DS.
Cringe. And
there it is.
I saw that, and then you try to sneak in the hashtags.
Yep, I surely did.
No, you're incorrect. I mean, I'm with you on Blue. Blue's great. The color, awesome.
So
Squirtle, good Pokemon.
Yeah.
Everything else wrong. Incorrect.
You love to be wrong about that.
Blastoise was the sin. You know.
Like, you mean big, like chunky Blastoise? The way he looks.
Just in general, Blastoise is dumb. Nope, I think Blastoise is dumb. I think Venusaur is dumb. But Ivysaur is sick. Squirtle,
Venusaur is dumb.
Pretty cool.
Blastoise is great.
Blastoise is.
That is all. The whole line is so good.
Terrible.
I am thinking about doing it as some kind of like in the van, maybe Nuzlocke or maybe something along those lines. I don't know what exactly, but yeah, something. So we'll see. Except for I forgot to name my Squirtle right as I got my Squirtle. He's like, "Do you want to give it a nickname?" I said no. I was like, not a Nuzlocke anymore.
Take it to the name raider. You gotta take it to the name raider.
Super which is in like Saffron City.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I just know it's mad late.
Yeah. Oh, I mean it's Lavender Town. I don't remember. Still, yeah, and then I think that's about it. I played like 20 minutes of Echo the Dolphin for some reason last night. I opened Genesis app to see if Shining Force 2 was on there, and mine hadn't updated. So I saw Echo the Dolphin, and I was like, let me play this.
That was the first game that I opened on the Genesis app. I don't know why though. It's fine.
It's a fun little something or other, you know. It took me a second to figure out how to make anything happen. Like you're just in this opening area for a while until you talk to, well, I guess you don't have to talk to the dolphins.
You just yeet. I just yeeted.
Oh,
just freaking physics.
So like now I get how to do it, but yeah, for a while I was like just swimming around, had no clue.
Yep.
I think that's
spinning around at the speed of sound. I think that's the slogan.
That is. It kind of sounded like you were quoting High School Musical, I think, for a second too.
No, I was quoting Sonic the Hedgehog.
I know you
were. Game. I didn't know if you knew that.
Oh wait, no. I wasn't thinking High School Musical. I was wrong about that. It was another song that I only know from Ashley. Oh man, what's I'm finding it now. Spin around. Oh yeah. Jump 5, spinning around. There's
I don't know what that is.
That's very fine. It's very much like Disney Channel bands from, I don't think literally a Disney Channel band, but like within that kind of thing from like 2006 or something. So there you go. All right, that's the games we're playing right now. We'll have more. What's your plan with Switch Sports?
I'm going to play it. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be a good community game. It's going to be a good co-streaming game.
Nice.
That's what I want. So probably, cool. I'd assume first time I'm playing it, I'll probably play it with Bob, you know, Jackson, that whole crew.
Yep.
And then I'll probably play it on the stream other times if people in the stream want to play it.
Nice. All right. Now moving on to the final segment of Q&A. We got a couple questions on Discord. Today was weird because I didn't make a big push for Q&A because so much news, but also I put my video up today. So, you know, I didn't want to muddy the water too much.
Yep. Also, you fumbled the bag on the tweet. You fumbled the bag. You did You did the thing that I told Falcon not to do. I should have put it in the group thing, but it just posted you just like wrote out the thing for the video and then you said there's the link, but you didn't put like a video or like an image because those perform better on Twitter.
I put an image. I think Falcon and I both did a tweet. Or do you mean? Yeah,
I just saw one tweet and I was like, this is not the wave. You want to put the, I mean, if anything, you want to put the video, the intro video.
Yeah. I should have done that. Yeah. Oh, well. I mean, we can always come back around to it and do that.
I mean, the main thing with social media, especially with the new, like, you know, focus for your channel, is like ideally we're posting videos all the time, like not even necessarily videos that just came out, like your video, right? You know, like because they're going to be relevant again.
Yep.
For various different reasons.
Also, I was going to say, we forgot to mention last week, but Falcon's doing our social media stuff, which is super cool. So the majority of social media stuff that you see go out is probably Falcon that's doing it. So especially throughout the week, which is super fun.
Yeah. If you see like some type of like poll or like I think the last one was if you can hang out with a Nintendo character, would it be? You know why? That stuff's probably going to be Falcon.
Yeah.
But also follow us on all our other social medias. If you didn't know, we're on Instagram and all that stuff, man. Right now, the Instagram is watch redirect _ because Instagram is stupid. But pretty much everything is watch redirect. And you could probably honestly just find it by typing in watch redirect and you'd be good. Like in the search bar.
Nice.
Eric said my answer was the best. And that's true. Honestly, we should incorporate that into the podcast too.
Oh yeah, that'd be
like
fun.
those types of like responses to those types of prompts. But yeah, that's true. Eric said Nintendogs, which is the correct answer.
That's good. Here's my Nintendogs right back there. There's one. Yeah,
That's
we
true.
got both of them still.
That's a fact.
Oh no, my chair.
Did they win any Frisbee tournaments?
All of them.
That's crazy.
They are champions of the world. All right. Discord question. Sardi asked, with Splatoon 3 so soon, TM, is it still worth to jump into Splatoon 2?
It depends on why you would be jumping into it. Story wise, like I said earlier, I do think that they're very good with continuity. So it's like it would be cool to like be on the inside of that, like that part of it is neat. But like if you just want to play multiplayer or whatever, no.
Yeah.
I
would agree with that. Sardi said there's a story. There is a story. Yeah.
There's a story and tons of lore.
Yep. And like, so there's single player stuff in the main game. And then also, yeah, the Octo expansion is all single player stuff. So that's like, if you're looking for that, then that's, there's a bunch of it.
Yep.
Nice. Alec asked, how excited are we to finally have Digimon Survive release date? I mean, poor Xenoblade coming out the same day.
Yeah, I forgot that we got that release date too. I didn't even see it. I didn't see the release date. I just saw a retroactive like tweet about like, oh, we finally got the release date for the thing, and it doesn't even have the release date in it. So I was like, I guess I don't know when that game's coming out. But that's neat. I'm happy for you. And and Sierra.
Alec, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think we still don't have actual like gameplay, right? Because I looked today to see if there was gameplay, and I found a trailer and it said gameplay trailer from 3 days ago, and it was just a re-upload of a 2020 trailer on a different channel. And then I noticed the watch to like ratio was like really bad. Oh, we did in the latest trailer. Okay, so maybe I just didn't watch.
Is Vmon in this video game? This will determine
if
I play it.
Mostly visual.
Oh, I'm not playing
okay.
It. No.
I thought it was a tactics RPG.
I'm already noped out. If it's mostly a visual
partly
novel,
tactics RPG?
Not. Unless I can be Vmon the whole time, I would have to be Vmon the entire video game if it's mostly a visual novel.
Well, and the other part being tactics RPG, does that appeal to you at all?
You are a human teenager? That's cringe. Human teenagers are the worst kind of humans. No, I'm joking.
Maybe also the worst kind of teenagers,
True, it's true. I don't know any other types of teenagers. I don't know if they call other creatures teenagers when they're in their teens. I think a lot of creatures when they're in their teens, they're close to their end.
Yeah, I mean, in their like human teens, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We found out our cat, my family's cat, who I haven't seen in a hot minute because I haven't been back to Belgium in a long time. But in human years or cat years or whichever way you want to think about that, she would be something like 84, which is really old, which is like, I better get back before she's no longer. But she's doing great. Yeah. But
before she's no longer is messed up, man. That's messed up phrasing.
Yeah. So she's nice. Her name's Zoe. She's spunky. And last question, Mega Man asked, what was the family signature dish growing up? Refoods.
Stuffed shells. I don't know what it's actually called though.
I mean, I've called them stuffed shells. That's like the big noodles with like, what is it, ricotta or something inside the sauce?
Yep.
That sounds good.
Everybody used to pop off, especially the extended family. Love that. Everybody freaking flocking to my mom's house when she made that. That's probably it. But it's usually like it was usually some form of that. Like for us, like in the nuclear family specifically, it was probably like spaghetti because that was more frequent. Like because of like all of the like added thing of like she got to make it for the whole like extended family with the stuffed shells. That happened way less. She's like, I'm not trying to make it for the whole world. But spaghetti was like that was like
because if she made it just for y'all, then like
they'd be mad. They'd be upset.
Exactly.
Can't just make it for us. But spaghetti was like the more safe. Like that happened all the time. But some Italian food.
That's I mean, Italian food is great. Definitely that was one of the ones for us too. Was just like my mom has a recipe for her own spaghetti sauce, which she has given me and I've never used. And now I think the spaghetti sauce I'm most used to is like the generic grocery store brand spaghetti sauce anyway. So, what are you gonna do? But yeah, so that I don't know. I feel like our cuisine at our house was always kind of like a little bit eclectic or something. Where like some favorites of mine, at least, that my mom would make was
share the recipe. Give it to 32-bit members.
I would happily. I
didn't actually mean that, but
I'm gonna take a picture.
You can put it on the Patreon. You just put it for anybody that any level of support.
Yep. Just one recipe every week. I've got a bunch of pictures from my mom.
Yo, hashtag refoods or whatever. What's the new thing? Did we settle on what the new thing is? Falcon put.
We have. There was a bunch of good ones. None quite as good as Fanatics Foods, to be perfectly honest, but it is what it is. Otherwise, green curry, that was a big thing. Chili for sure, like just regular old chili was very good.
It's already said I'm down for refoods.
Whoa,
recipe.
If that one worked as like also standalone words, not just like recipe with a colon in the middle of it, that would be the one. But like, how do you say that?
I don't know.
But it's fun to look at.
I think refoods is more marketable.
Yeah.
I'm still workshopping that BRB.
That's good. I think for me, that was the ones. There's probably some other things in there for sure. And my mom would be like, how could you forget about such and such? But easily I did, just like that.
That's true. You did do that. You did.
We had with beans, although I was never a big fan of beans in chili, but I think it does make it
a curse. I think that's a curse.
I think I made it worse for myself because I wanted to eat it without the beans in it. So I would eat all the beans first.
Oh no.
And then eat the chili without the beans and be like, yeah, this is good.
It's like you ate your vegetables first.
Yeah. I mean, then I'm just like eating not a fun part for the whole thing. Whereas if I just ate the beans in the regular old bites,
it's like you're eating, you're hiding the pill in the peanut butter.
Yeah.
But I was talking about, so like whenever I'm on other people's streams and they go away, I do the AJ show where I just talk about random crap. And the segment on the last episode of the AJ show was chili cheese dogs because Sonic the Hedgehog likes chili dogs. And I was like, yo, chili beans and chili, especially chili cheese dogs and/or chili dogs, that's a curse. Don't do it.
Chili dogs. Well, I was distracted for half of what you said. Chili dogs with no beans, I'm all here for. Chili beans and chili dogs. No, absolutely not feeling that.
It's terrible. Don't do it.
But regular old chili dogs, but just like just meat chili or whatever.
Chili dogs are fine. But chili dogs, I mean, I'm taking the firm stance that chili period, no beans. Get it out of here. Sin. But especially
what about chili? Have you had white chili, like white chicken chili?
No, I have never had that. What is that?
Super different. I mean, it's same kind of conceptually. It's like got chicken and white beans and like more kind of chicken brothy, but with like a like heavy cream, kind of that sort of a base. And it's got like I can tell you all the things that are technically in it because we make it a lot.
Said I'm Mexican, beans and rice and everything. Do people put rice in chili?
Oh, I don't know. I know in the UK, chili is used kind of like curry is, where it's like you put it over white.
Chili over rice, that's a different thing.
Alex said white chicken chili is one of the whitest foods on the planet. Do you mean like as in white people white, or
I think that's like, what he means.
I think he does too. Oh no.
Yes, that's.
I mean,
that was my initial assumption, but I was going to let you explain first.
if I'm being honest, I technically am white, so
Yeah,
I guess it checks out.
Not even technically. Yeah,
I mean, yeah. That's the thing. There you go.
But
it's
yeah,
tasty, you know.
Me too, says Alec. But yeah, I never had it, never saw it, didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
But
if you ever come over here, I'll make you some.
You're gonna make me white chili. Okay.
Yep.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
Just like I tell Bob I wanted my hot chocolate. He still owes me waffles though.
Oh,
He never came through on that. He made me the hot chocolate. He did do that, but the waffles, which to be fair, he doesn't have to make me the waffles. He just has to provide me waffles. Yeah. That's still the thing. That's still unfulfilled promise.
Ever had Cincinnati chili 3-way? I think I have. Is Cincinnati chili Skyline chili that has like some chocolate in it or something?
No, I have never had that.
It's just copycat Skyline Cincinnati chili.
Y'all ever had Memphis Gold meatballs? Yes. I made them the other day, and they're fire. No, I have never had those. Is that a sin that you never had those? Can't you like go down the street or something?
About what? Not having
the meatballs.
Oh, meatballs. Oh, well, I mean, it's like 3 hours away.
That's down the street.
I mean, yeah, down the street that I'm just never bothering to do.
Yeah.
What are Memphis Gold meatballs? I have no concept of what this would be. I'm not like thrilled about it. That like meatballs in general is kind of hit or miss. I feel like.
Nah, you're crazy.
They're good in the context of the only place where I don't feel weird about them is spaghetti. Yeah, that's totally fine. But like, I mean,
meatball subs, man.
Yeah, but even then, it's still like spaghetti-esque, you know, in like spaghetti sauce, that kind of. But like, there's also you get meatballs. Good, they are good, but I feel weird about them still. Like, even though I'll eat them and be like, yeah, those are good. It just weird something about it's like
define weird.
I don't know.
We did yesterday. I with Youth on her stream, twitch.tv/Youth her. We did a food tier list. And pears, they didn't turn out great. I'm gonna tell you now. Yeah. Pears, they didn't do great.
Yep, man. What a sad time. Eric said regular spaghetti is made. If the noodle is in a cool shape, I don't want it. I'm with you. I feel like, I mean, I'm not like against it if it's normal, you know, noodle shape, spaghetti noodle, whatever. But I definitely way prefer like the little shells or the bow ties. Those are real fun.
There was parody about the pears.
But will there be a parody about the parody of the pears? That's what I want to know.
No, I think we already did that.
That's what we're doing now.
Yeah. I think that's it, unless people in the peanut gallery have any other questions, comments, concerns.
And we have a quick update. We have there's a monthly Patreon podcast that we have yet to record the monthly one of, but some bits that have been in this podcast before and are kind of hit or miss whether they happen or not. Yeah,
they just add length to the podcast. It's you know, we know I was about to say it's unlikely that most people listen to this part of the podcast. Most people do not listen to this part of the podcast anyway. So just to make this show more clean and like easier to package, we'll move like the Marvel stuff, you know, like that.
Yep.
We'll move to that.
And video comments as well to over there. At least for the only tricky thing about that is like, I guess there was something nice about saying like, and we'll talk about your comments on our podcast.
No, I think that we'll probably like do that for specific videos that are like talk about them in the podcast if they're like particularly relevant that week. But we'll do for the monthly podcast, we'll talk about more comments across the month for all the videos that we do for that month. I think that's a good happy medium there.
Yep.
Because sometimes it's just like we would do a video and the comments were just like good video, or like, you know, like there wouldn't be that much discussion there. So
Yeah, totally. Some questions real quick. What are your thoughts on things? They're great. Sometimes awful though. Really, kind of hit or miss. Community game nights. Yeah, I need to talk to Ashley and figure out when that'll be good. But yes, that's coming up soon.
Yeah, that is also a thing, but we got to figure out the date.
Indeed.
How many cables will you have to throw out if Apple is forced to use USB-C? Three. Well, I mean, none, because like I still have the thing that I still have true. Like my iPad, like for my phone. Eventually 3. Like if because I'm going to get another phone. I don't know if I'm gonna get another iPad because like I use my iPad, but I really just use my iPad for something that would not benefit from a spec bump anyway. I just like watch videos on it when I don't feel like being on my computer. But yeah,
makes sense. What's a question to leave everybody with? Best, maybe just, I don't know, tell us about what's chili mean to you,
What
does chili mean to you? No, like, I don't know, best chili recipe, or like beans or no beans.
Best form of chili is the sweet chili Doritos,
which are back in stores. They were gone for so long and they're showing back up now, so that's nice.
That's a fact. That's the best form of chili. But thanks for listening and or watching, everybody. Good times. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast, rate the podcast, subscribe to the channels. See ya.
Bye.